Today's poem is in the title of 夜旅书怀, or My Feelings in a Traveling Night. It was inspired by Li Bai's poem in the title of 渡荆门送别, seeing off my relatives at the Thong-Pass Harbor. Let me read Dufu's poem in Chinese first. 夜旅书怀, 杜甫。细草微风岸，伟强独夜舟。星垂平野阔，月涌大江流。名岂文章著，观音老病休。飘飘何所似，天地一沙鸥。Now, let's review the first couplets of the two poems. 渡远荆门外，来从楚国游。Sailing far away from Thong-Pass Harbor, I'm going to tour the Chu state. 细草微风岸，伟强独夜舟。Fine grass bends on the bank in a gentle breeze, where my boat's mast soars in the lonely night. The first couplet of Li Bai's poem was about his arriving at the entrance to the open plain of the ancient Chu kingdom. Li Bai was very impressed by the new landscape and was excited for the upcoming journey, while the first couplets in Dufu's poem paint a rather quiet scene, a long boat anchored by the bank of Yangtze River. The second couplets of the two poems present a similar view with almost identical poetic form, as you can see here. Let's examine the two couplets. 山水平野尽，江入大荒流。山 means mountain, is a noun and pronounced in the first tone. 水 means with, it's a adverb and pronounced in the second tone. 平 means flat, is an adjective and pronounced in the second tone again. 野 means plain, is a noun again and pronounced in the third tone. 尽 means and, is a verb pronounced in the fourth tone. 江 refers to Yangtze River, and it is a noun and pronounced in the first tone. 入 means enter, and is a verb pronounced in the fourth tone. 大 means great, and is an adjective pronounced in the fourth tone. 荒 means wilderness, is a noun and pronounced in the first tone. 流 means flow, and is a verb and pronounced in the second tone. Now, let's look at Dufu's couplet. 星垂平野阔，月涌大江流。星 means star, is a noun and pronounced in the first tone like 山。垂 means han, is an adjective and pronounced in the second tone. The third character 平 is identical to Li Bai's couplet. 野 again is also identical to Li Bai's couplets. 阔 means wide open and is an adjective pronounced in the fourth tone like the corresponding character in Li Bai's couplet. 月 means moon and is a noun like 江 in Li Bai's couplet, but it's pronounced in the fourth tone. 涌 means ripple and is a verb like the character in Li Bai's couplet, but it is pronounced in the third tone. The character da is identical with the corresponding character in Li Bai's couplet. 江 refers to the Yangtze River. It is a noun and pronounced in the first tone like 荒 in Li Bai's couplet. And the last character in the two couplets are identical, 流. So, as you can see, the part of speech and the tones of the corresponding characters between the two couplets are almost identical, indicating that Du Fu was deliberately paying tribute to Li Bai's poem. I know the pronunciation and tones of the Tang Dynasty dialects might be different from today's Mandarin, but I can assure you the tones would match perfectly in Tang Dynasty dialects. However, the feelings expressed in the two couplets could not be more different. Li Bai's couplets present the emotions of excitement and wonders. This was the first time he saw such wide open plain and the grand scale of the Yangtze River, and he was very excited about what he was going to experience in the next part of his journey. However, the couplet from Du Fu's poem expresses very different feelings. There is no excitement, only loneliness. Above the open plain is the unlimited starry sky. Under the starry sky is the great Yangtze River where the reflection of the moon reposes on the current. This scene reminded me another poem of Li Bai, where he claimed 今人不见古时月，今月曾经照古人。古人今人若流水，共看明月皆如此。People today don't see the moon of ancient times. The moon of today once shone on ancient folks. Ancient folks and people today are like flowing water. They all see the same moon. If Du Fu's couplet reminds me of Li Bai's this poem, I'm pretty sure Du Fu might also be thinking of these lines when he was composing this couplet. By this time, Li Bai had died. I can imagine how sad and angry Du Fu must feel while recalling how much hope Li Bai held when he left home and set off for the capital Chang'an, and how frustrated that Li Bai never had a chance to achieve his political ambition. The sadness and anger were not just for Li Bai, but for all the talented scholars who wasted their lives fleeing from war or serving the corrupted empire, including Du Fu himself. The third couplets are quite different between the two poems. Now, let me read our translations of the two couplets. 月下飞天镜，云生接海楼。The moon flies down from the heavens on the water like a mirror. The clouds conceal into castles in the air. 名启文章著，观音老病休。Who cares about literary fame? I should resign my post out of illness and old age. As you can see, the couplet from Li Bai's poem continues to describe the wonders he saw at the Thong Pass harbor. The reflection of the moon on Yangtze looks like a mirror coming from the heaven. The reflection of the nearby city towers look like the castles in the air. On the other hand, the couplet from Du Fu's poem already expressing his disappointment towards the whole ruling class. The last couplets from the two poems show us Du Fu's extraordinary mastery of the poetic language and how did he pack so much cultural significance into the two simple lines. Before I explain this, I would like to show you Du Fu's itinerary around this time. In 765 CE, 杜甫left Chengdu and traveled to Yuzhou along the Yangtze River to Kuizhou, indicated by the blue star. 3 years later, he took his family on the boat again, traveling from Kuizhou to Jiangling, indicated by the green star. Note that the right line in this map was the route Li Bai took, sailing out of Sichuan in 725 CE. As I pointed out earlier, the scene in the second couplets of the two poems were almost identical. The open plain, the wide and peaceful water of the Yangtze River, even the bright moon in the starry night sky were exactly the same. I highly suspect that Du Fu anchored his boat at the Thong Pass harbor indicated by the pink star, while Li Bai parted with his brothers and cousins 40 years ago. Only when reading this poem with this background information and the reference to the last couplets from Li Bai's poem, we can grasp the full cultural significance of the last couplet in Du Fu's poem. Now, let me read the translations of the couplets from these two poems. 飘飘何所是，天地一沙鸥。What am I like, drifting to and fro, but a solitary gull between heaven and earth? 仍怜故乡水，万里送行舟。The river from my hometown still loves me. It has carried my boat for 10,000 miles. Apparently, Li Bai's couplet expresses his gratitude towards his family. Although he would continue his travel without them, their love for him would be with him wherever he goes. However, Du Fu's couplet tells us even though he was traveling with his family, he nonetheless felt absolutely alone. By this time, Du Fu was 57 years old. For a modern person, 57 is not old at all. However, 1400 years ago, when the average lifespan was about 30 years old, 57 was absolutely old. Years of fleeing from war zone and the hardship experienced by Du Fu had seriously damaged his health. We know that Du Fu died in 770 CE, only 2 years after he composed this poem. So our poet was pretty sick by this time. I can hardly hold my tear back thinking about this scenario. The old and sickly Du Fu, with Li Bai's poem at hand, wrote down these lines about his own tragic life, knowing that he was getting close to the end of his life. The contrast between the useful and inspiring poem of Li Bai and his own tired and sorrowful poem could not be more tragic than what is presented in these two poems. While at the same time, I'm also deeply moved by the affection Du Fu held for Li Bai. There is one last point I would like to make. Rephrasing, copying the form or even characters from a poet one loves the most is a common practice to pay tribute to the beloved poet among the poets in the tradition of classical Chinese poetry. I see such poems among contemporary poets such as Du Fu to Li Bai, Bai Juyi to Yuan Zhen, and many others. One can also find such poems between poets who were separated by hundreds of years, such as Shu Si to Tao Yuanming, 舒适 to Li Bai, etc. I would love to show you more of these kind of poems in the future. Please let me know if you would like to watch videos on such poems. I'm Dr. Gao, a philosopher obsessed with poetry. I make videos about classical Chinese poetry, philosophies, and traditional Chinese medicine. Please click the like button and subscribe my channel. Your support is very important to me. I also offer one-to-one online lessons on these subjects. So if you would like to have personally tailored lessons on these subjects or read the classical Chinese with me, please contact me. Here's my email address. Thanks for watching my video. I'll see you next time.